Hare Krishna all. Welcome to our Gita Amritam Rasamalayam weekly session for systematic study of Bhagavad Gita. Today is a very auspicious day, the day of Madhav Tithi. It is Yogini Ekadashi in India. In USA, for us, it was yesterday. And what greater auspicious day than this do we need to start our chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita? I remember it's almost a year now, excuse me, since we started this Gita Amritam Rasamalayam, and we have exactly reached the halfway point of our study of Bhagavad Gita, which has got 18 chapters. And the most important knowledge, or the most confidential knowledge, Krishna has hidden exactly in the center of Bhagavad Gita, that is chapter 9. And in that also, we are coming to the discussion point today. So we are so lucky and fortunate that this inauguration of chapter 9, the study of most confidential knowledge, will be done by none other than His Grace, Amarendra Prabhu. So he doesn't need introduction. All of you are already knowing him. So we welcome Amarendra Prabhu with all our hearts, and we request him to enlighten us today with this confidential knowledge of chapter 9 from verses 1 to 7. With this, I would like to hand over to Amarendra.
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Thank you very much for a warm welcome, and thank you for having me here. Could I have the co-host rights so that I can screen share to the verses?
Yeah, I'll just make you the co-host, or else you can just send me a request for sharing. I can even approve that as well. Let me see.
And if you can just make me the co-host, then...
Yeah, I am just... Actually, in this Arjun Saka's Zoom channel, we found out earlier also there is no provision to make co-host. That's an issue. Even I checked with him also, and he said, yes, that's not possible to make co-host. So I don't know. So best way would be for you to ask me for the sharing rights of the slides, and I can approve it.
And I don't know how to do that.
No, just press the share button. You just press the share button and you'll get that feature.
Okay.
Yes, I've allowed you now, so now you can share.
Okay. And would you also be able to spotlight me?
Yes, I can do that.
For the videos, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Just make sure that there is confidentiality when this goes on social media, especially for those who have their videos on. This helps. Thank you. So let's get started. So we have a lot of ground to cover in 1 hour time. This is chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita, the most confidential knowledge. We'll chant the 7 verses first, and then we'll go through the discussion later. Text 1 to 7. Shri Bhagavan idam tute Guhya tamam pravakshyamyanasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnatva mokshase shubhat. Translation. My dear Arjuna, because you're never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you will be relieved of the miseries of material existence. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitramidam Uttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartumavyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. Ashraddhadhana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. Those who are not faithful to this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyaktamurtina matsthani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavasthitah. By me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Nacha matsthani bhutani pashyame yogamaishwaram bhutabhrinnacha bhutastho mamatma bhutabhavanah. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities and although I am everywhere, I am not part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. Yatha kashasthito nityam vayu sarvatrago mahan tatha sarvani bhutani matstha nityupadharaya. Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. Sarva bhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshaye punastani kalpado visrjamyaham. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. So that's the section to be covered. A little introduction before we get started. This is the heartbeat, this is the backbone, this is the central theme of the Bhagavad Gita. As we know, Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters divided in 3 categories, where the middle category from 7 to 12 deals with bhakti, and chapter 9 is the middle of the middle category. And this chapter 9, has many beautiful verses where Krishna speaks about serving him, loving him with all one's heart. Speaks about bhakti. It is described that this chapter is the most confidential knowledge. And we find this in the first verse itself, where Krishna says that idam tute guhyatamam pravakshamya nasuyave. In the first verse itself, Krishna uses the word guhyatamam. In Sanskrit, guhya means that which is confidential, gopaniya, gopya baat jo hai, jaise Hindi mein kehte hain, something that's very confidential. So there's guhya, then there's guhyatara, then there is guhyatama, meaning something that's confidential, more confidential, and most confidential. So in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, Guhya has been explained, where the difference between body and soul. Most in this world don't know. They think, well, I'm Indian, I'm South Indian, I'm Tamil speaking, I'm Chinese, I'm Russian, I'm male, I'm female, I'm father, I'm brother, I'm sister, I'm son, I'm daughter, I'm a scientist, I'm a housewife, I'm a mother of 3, I'm a daughter to someone, I'm a son to someone. We have all these labels for our bodies. Surely we act on all of those responsibilities. But Krishna teaches us, we are not these bodies. We are not these bodies. Just like you have a hand inside a glove, and when the hand moves, the glove moves. But when the hand is removed, the glove falls. We are and we were and we will never be the glove. Even if the hand is placed for 1,000,000 years inside a glove, when we remove the hand, the glove falls. When you put the hand, the glove moves, and the glove moves according to the movement of the fingers. Right? So by this example, we understand we are spirit soul. That's like the hand in the example. And this body that we are holding is like the glove. So just like when the soul enters the body, the hand enters the glove, that's birth. When the hand remains in the glove, that's the soul in the body, that's life. When the hand leaves the glove, which means the soul leaves the body, that's death. And even when for 1,000,000 years the hand remains in the glove, which means the soul remains in the body, the hand doesn't become the glove, the soul never becomes the body. The hand and the glove, meaning the soul and the body, are 2 different identities altogether. And more importantly, between the 2, the glove doesn't decide how the hand must move, the hand decides how the glove must move. Which means when the soul is in the body doesn't tell the soul how to act. But depending on the soul, the body is used in different ways. Some are using their body to go down to hell, some are using their body to go to Swarga, some are using their body to reincarnate in human forms in this world, while some are performing bhakti, using the glove, the body, to move favorably. So between the two, there's difference, and between the two, the soul is above matter or body. So this is covered in chapter 2. So this is called Guhya. More important, more confidential than this, which is Guhyatara, is covered in chapters 7 and 8. We said, well, the soul is different from the body. That's level 1 understanding of confidentiality. Then level 2 understanding is, where does the soul come from? Whom does the soul belong to? Whom does the body belong to? Who creates the body? Who creates the soul? And what is the interconnection between the creator and the created? Which means, what's the connection between the soul and the super soul or Bhagavan? Level 1 understanding, we are the soul and not the body. Level 2 understanding, because we are the soul, we have a connection with the Lord who created us. This is covered in 7 and 8. So this is more confidential. And most confidential is, what is that relation between the two? How do you attain him? How do you impress upon his heart, please him, and attain him? That's covered in chapter 9. That's most confidential. So level 1 understanding is Atma Tattva. Level 2 understanding is Ishvara Tattva. And level 3 understanding is Prem Tattva or Bhakti Tattva. Soul, level 1. Super soul, level 2. How the soul can attain the super soul or Bhagavan. How to please him. How to win his kripa. And how to attain him eternally. This is covered in 3 layers of Guhya, chapter 2, Guhyatara, chapter 7 and 8, and Guhyatama, chapter 9. So this is the introduction. Now let's get into a deep dive into these verses. So let's start with verse 1. This is why we know it's not just confidential, it is most confidential. So now Bhagavan Uvacha, Krishna is speaking. Krishna says, Idam tute guhyatamam. So we discussed this term guhyatamam. And now let's go through different words here. Idam, which means this. What does this mean? Jnanam vijnana sahitam. Jnanam means knowledge. Vijnana means realization of that knowledge. So what's the difference between the two? To know that tomato is a fruit is knowledge. But to know not to put it in a fruit salad is wisdom, is realization. So to know something theoretically and to actually practice it and realize the wisdom behind it are two different things. So Krishna in this chapter, he's saying, I'm not just going to teach, Krishna through Arjuna is not just going to teach us what is what, he's also going to teach us how to apply it. So this idam, this one, this tattva, which is knowledge, transcendental knowledge with its application, Krishna says is Guhya Tama. Now, we also want to, for the sake of, because we are studying Gita here, we also want to see some other references. I would like to take you to Bhagavad Gita 1864. Look at this verse on the screen share. Here in 1864, Krishna uses the same word again, Sarva Guhyatamam. Sarva Guhyatamam, 1864. Now we'll say, well, why are we jumping there? Because there is a brilliant connection that we can see. A brilliant connection. Look at 1864, which says Sarva Guhyatamam, that this is the most confidential knowledge. Krishna doesn't stop there. Now we want to go to 1868 Gita. And my request would be, we can always write down these references so that we can come back to it. Now look at 1868 Gita, where Krishna again says, Paramam Guhyam. This is the most confidential. So in 64, he said, Sarva Guhyatamam. In 68, he says, Paramam Guhyam. Now, if those are like the loaves of the sandwich, there's something between 64 and 68. And as we are guessing it right, between 64 and 68 is the famous Bhagavad Gita 1865, where Krishna says, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijani priyoshime. This is what Krishna sandwiches on either sides. by saying Sarva Guhyatamam, most confidential, and at the end Paramam Guhya, most confidential. What is the most confidential knowledge? Krishna says, give your mind to me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer obeisances to me. Quite interesting. Manmana means like Mother Yashoda, like the Gopas of Vrindavan. Love me with all your mind. We'll say, well, we can't do that, Krishna, because we are not that advanced. Then he says, okay, no problem. In this world, become my devotee. In this world, become my devotee, following in the footsteps of Mother Yashoda. You can't be an eternal associate, no problem. In this world, follow their footsteps. Then we say, well, that is also very difficult. Krishna says, at least be regulated in your sadhana, Madhyaji. This is pure Vaishnav in Golok Vrindavan. If we can't be that, this is pure Vaishnav in this world. Well, I can't be that. Okay, at least be regulated in sadhana bhakti. Worship me. Krishna, I become complacent, lazy. That's also not possible. Krishna says, Namaskuru. At least offer your body to me. Jhuk jao. Say that I can't do it. And trust me, I will mame vaishyasi. You will come to me. So this is most confidential knowledge. Now we will say, well, why are we going there? Because this is the same theme Krishna repeats in the 9th chapter. He starts the chapter with idam tute guhyatamam, and then he concludes the chapter with this interesting, surprising verse. In 934, Krishna says, Manmanava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So we can see the consistency in Krishna's teaching. So if the start of the chapter he says, Idam tute guhyatamam pravakshami anasuyave. Hey Arjun, I'm going to tell you something confidential. He says the same thing in the start of the chapter and the end of the chapter, that these 4 points are the most confidential principle of bhakti. And what is kept in the middle of the book, he recapitulates that at the end of the book again in the 18th chapter. So this is elaboration on the term idam tute guhyatamam. Now let's get back to the verse. I personally like to study Bhagavad Gita with cross-referencing, because that gives us an insight into the heart of Bhagavan, who is the speaker who keeps consistency in his speech. So idam tute guhyatamam pravakshami. He says, hey Arjun, I am going to not just vakshami, I am not going to just say it, pravakshami. In Sanskrit, this prefix pra means prakarshena or prakrishtena, which means in great detail. Hey Arjun, I'm going to explain to you what bhakti is and how to perform bhakti in great detail. Well, someone could say, why are you saying this only to Arjuna? Why are you speaking only to Arjuna? Krishna says, because the prerequisite for Bhagavad Gita is anasuyave, to be non-envious. Is that also consistent somewhere else? Well, let's see. Let's see. Let's get to Granth-raj Srimad Bhagavatam, where in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagwan Vyas, as he starts to speak, he says this literature of Srimad Bhagavatam, Nirmatsaranam, is meant for 100% pure in heart. How does this word Nirmatsara be formed? Nir means without, and Matsara or Matsaryam means envy. So to be free from envy is the criteria to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is the same qualification Krishna places in the start of the Bhagavad Gita, in the start of the 9th chapter, where he says, hey Arjun, I am speaking to you because anasuyave, you are non-envious. The question could be, what was the problem if someone is envious of Krishna? What is the problem? The problem is, if someone is envious of Krishna, they will think Krishna is self-glorifying unnecessarily. They will say, why is he saying among this, I am the taste in water, I am the light of the sun and the moon, worship me, remember me, bow down to me, think of me, become my devotee? Naturally, someone will think, when we are not supposed to glorify ourselves, why is God glorifying himself? This answer has been answered, or this question has been answered in the Ramayana. In the meeting, the first meeting of Hanuman and Sri Ram, Hanuman comes as a Brahmana. And in the meeting of Hanuman and Sri Ram, he asked Sri Ramachandra, who are you? And Sri Ramachandra says, my name is Ram, this is Lakshman, and we are the sons of Dasharath Maharaj in the solar dynasty, the Surya Vansha. Then when Sri Ramachandra asks Hanuman, who are you? Hanuman says, I am the most unfortunate, I am the most dull-headed, I am unintelligent, I am ugly. He goes on with so many derogatory adjectives which don't fit him. But out of his humility, Hanuman speaks all this. And Ramachandra says, what kind of introduction is this? You ask me and I introduce myself properly. And when I ask you, you are saying I am unfortunate, I am dull-headed, I am... What kind of introduction is that? Hanuman answers brilliantly by saying, Oh Sri Ram, when you introduce yourself, there is Ram Katha. But when I introduce myself, there is no Ram Katha. So better I not speak about myself. And the fact that my master, Sri Ram, you are not able to recognize me and you're asking me who I am, this is the most unfortunate thing in the life of a devotee. Why we are tying that to this is because we are not supposed to glorify ourselves, because when we glorify, there's no Krishna Katha. But when Krishna speaks about himself, it purifies the whole world. Bhuvanam Punati, because there is Krishna Katha and there's absolute reality. And it's beneficial for the whole world. But when we speak about ourselves, it is not so. And because we think Krishna should act like me, and I'm not supposed to glorify myself, so he's not supposed to glorify himself, this is the envy which blocks the understanding of Shastra. And because Arjuna is free from that, Krishna says, Bina hichkichaye main aapko satya bata deta hu. Hey Arjun, without any hesitation, because you are non-envious, I will tell you the truth. So amazing. Bhagavad Gita is so beautiful. Every word has such depth. Now someone will counter question, why is this word tu added here? Because what is the word tu? Tu means kintu, parantu, Hindi में जो कहते हैं लेकिन, English में जो कहते हैं but. This is tu. When I was doing my MBA, our teacher taught us, if someone glorifies you and then puts a but, negate everything that they have said till now. Because what they want to say, they're actually going to say after the but. So it's interesting. Why would Krishna in the start of the verse, in the start of the chapter, use tu? Why does he do that? Acharyas have explained that also, that in the start of the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, in the start of the 7th chapter, Krishna started speaking Jnana Vijnana Sahitam. Krishna wanted to speak knowledge with realization in the start of the 7th chapter. Maya asakta manapartha yogam yunjan madashraya asamshayam samagram mam yatha nyasasi tachrunu. In the start of the 7th chapter, Krishna wanted to speak Jnana Vijnana Sahitam. But what happened was, as he was speaking, in the 8th chapter, Krishna was interrupted by Arjuna, who asked 7 questions. So Krishna, who wanted to speak all this that he's speaking in the 9th chapter, he wanted to speak in the 7th chapter. But Arjuna, in the middle of that, asked 7 questions. Krishna answered all of them. And now, after that interruption, wants to go back to where he left off. And this is why he adds the word tu, which means after the 8th chapter, hey Arjun, let's not change topics. Let's come back to where I left off. And this is why in the start of this verse of this chapter, Krishna uses the word tu. Now you will say, does he use this in other places also? Surely enough. Surely. Let's look at another wonderful example where Krishna uses the same idea so that you're convinced I'm not making things up. Look at this. In 9:12 of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 12, which will come later, Krishna says, Moghasha mogha karmano mogha jnana viche tasaha rakshasim asurim chaiva prakritim mohinim shruta. In this verse, he speaks about demoniac nature. Krishna talks about those who are rakshasi asuri pravriti and they are shritaha. They take shelter of prakriti mohinim, this temporary bewildering material nature. So he talks about the demoniac nature, those who forget him, those who reject the Shastra, those who are under Maya. He talks about all of them. And then when he wants to talk about the great souls, in the next verse, he has to add a but to flip the context. So now after speaking about those bewildered by Mahamaya, he says, tu. However, O Arjun, Mahatmanas tu Mam Partha Daivim Prakriti Mashrita. The Mahatmas, the great souls, however, they take shelter of Radharani. Daivi Prakriti means Radharani. They take shelter of Radharani. Those who worship Krishna taking shelter of him along with Radharani, they are the Mahatmas. They are the Mahajano Yena Gatasa Pantha. So the context is, here Krishna uses the word tu in 9.13 to flip the context of 9.12. But here if you see in 9.1, there is no previous verse to continue from in the chapter. So we must understand that this is connected to the 7th chapter discussion, which was interjected in the middle, and answering all those questions, Krishna comes back to his original context. Knowing this transcendental wisdom, what will happen? In America, there's a question, what's in it for me? If someone says something, the question to rebuttal is, what's in it for me? Why are you telling me? Isme mera kya fayda? Ye sunkar, ye padkar, reading this, hearing this, what's my gain? Krishna says, by knowing this, hey Arjun, moksha se ashubhat, you will be free from everything that is inauspicious. Everything that is inauspicious, you will be free from it. So now, Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he brilliantly explains that this Jnana Vijnana Sahitam is bhakti, which means associating with the devotees, hearing from them, and cleansing the contamination in the heart. We know by hearing Hari Katha, Pravishtha Karnarandrena, Swanam Bhava Saroruham, Dhunoti Shamalam Krishna, Salilasya Yatha Sharat. Now, as we are looking for that reference, this is Srimad Bhagavatam. You can just take a note and we can always study these sections later. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 8, Text 5, where Krishna has glorified through the Acharyas in the section that when you hear Hari Katha, Pravishtha Karnarandrena, which means when you hear Hari Katha, this Hari Katha enters Karnarandra through the ear hole, and all the contamination in the heart, dhunoti. Dhunoti का अर्थ क्या है? धोना. हिंदी में जो धोना कहते हैं, संस्कृत में धुनोति, which means to clean. Krishna himself cleans the contamination of our heart if you perform bhakti by hearing about him. Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he says, not just hearing, you can engage in Navavida Bhakti. You can engage in so many different limbs of bhakti. So that is as far as the first verse of this chapter is concerned. Now let's move to the second verse, where 8 adjectives have been given for bhakti. We can go through them. 8 adjectives. You can write down the first adjectile phrase is Raja Vidya. The second is Raja Guhyam. The third is Pavitram. The fourth is Uttamam. The fifth is Pratyakshaavagamam. The sixth is Dharmyam. The seventh is Susukam, Kartum. And the 8th is Avyayam. These are 8 adjectile phrases. Verse 1 connects to verse 2 through this common word that Krishna has used, which is idam. In the first verse, he says idam tute. That same idam has been, idam is a adjective, it's a pronoun in Sanskrit for this. अगर सामने कुछ हो और उंगली दिखाकर कहना हो कि इसको यहाँ से उठाओ, lift this from here or put this back in its place. When you point something in front of us with our finger, that's called idam. So Krishna is speaking about bhakti and uses the same word idam with these 8 adjectile phrases. So now let's go through these adjectile phrases. Raja Vidya means bhakti is the king of all education. Everything that we need to know, we will be self-sufficient. We will be not as omniscient as the Lord, but Sarva Vijnanam Bhavati. By studying Bhagavad Gita, by understanding Bhakti, by loving God with all our heart, Yasmin Vijnate Sarvamevam Vijnanam Bhavati. All that has to be known will be understood. This is the first phrase. And how do we know? Where else in the Bhagavad Gita does Krishna say, by performing bhakti, one will know everything that has to be known? You can write this reference down. This is Bhagavad Gita 7.1, where Krishna says, if you know bhakti, then asamshayam samagram mam yatha jnasasi tachrunu. The word asamshayam means without doubt. Jnasyasi means to know. Samagram means completely. By performing bhakti. How do we know this verse talks about bhakti? Krishna uses the word mad ashrayaha. If you take shelter of me, and mai asakta manah, if you give your mind to me. Very simple, consistent. The teaching is consistent throughout the chapters. Krishna is saying, if you take shelter of me, and if you give your mind to me, and if you're attached to me, then, hey Arjun, know for sure, without doubt, completely, you will know me. You will know me. And that is the same thing, Raja Vidya. It is the king of all knowledge, knowing which you'll know everything. How do you know someone is a king? Someone is a king when he has sovereignty over everything else. If someone is a leader of a village, he leads the village, but he doesn't lead the next village. But if someone is a king under whom there are 50 territories, then he controls all 50. So if something is Raja Vidya, then that Vidya controls all other Vidyas, knowing which one knows everything. Again, in another verse of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions, this is 15:19 Bhagavad Gita. 15:19. Here Krishna says, look at this, again bhakti. He says that if you perform bhakti, how should the bhakti be? Sarva bhavena, with all your heart. Bhajati, bhajdhatu sevayam. In Sanskrit, the word bhaja means to serve. So if you serve Krishna with all your heart, what does Krishna say? Janati purushottamam. You will know him. And not just know him, Krishna calls such a devotee sarvavit. Nice term to know. Sarvavit. Sarva means everything. Vit means to know. Prabhupada translates this as the knower of everything. So by this we know, if we know Krishna through bhakti, then this is Raja Vidya. We know everything. Everything that has to be known, we know. Someone will say, by performing bhakti, will I know the temperature in Afghanistan? Will I know the rotation and revolution of planets? Will I know the temperature on the sun? My question is, do you really need to know it? That ChatGPT will tell you. You can just Google and all of that is available. Anything that can be available on our fingertips is not considered to be very difficult to know. But by performing bhakti, you can know the heart of the creator of the whole creation. That ChatGPT, that Google, that Wikipedia can tell us. Where ChatGPT ends with artificial intelligence, where real intelligence begins, and where real intelligence ends, that's where bhakti begins. Because you get an entrance into the heart of the creator of the whole creation. Adjectile phrase number 1, Raja Vidya. Now, adjectile phrase number 2, Raja Guhyam. Krishna hides. Krishna really hides. He masks himself in this world. And how does he mask himself? A very brilliant example, the Bhagavad Gita gives. Krishna says, Matta parataram nanyat kinjidasti dhananjaya, mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. Now look at this Kanthimala. This Kanthimala, you can see the beads, maybe not so much even through the device, but have faith, there are beads here. We can see the beads, but what's keeping the beads together is the thread. The thread exists, but is covered by the beads, so much so that when you see the Kanthimala, you see the Kantha, you see the Mala, but you don't see the thread which holds the beads together. Krishna says, I, as the thread, I'm holding this world like the beads, so much so that people are busy looking at the beads of this world. People are busy looking at the sun and the moon and the stars and the sky and the plants and the food and the fruits and the flowers and the grains and the earth and the sky. It looks like a rap, but anyway. We see all of this around, which are like beads. But what we don't see is the Lord who's going through all of them as Paramatma, as the Super Soul, nourishing through the rays of the sun and the moon, nourishing through the fragrance and the taste of Mother Earth. So He is the thread holding all the beads together, and He's invisible. Let's look at a beautiful verse from the Bhagavad Gita as reference for this point. Krishna mentions in 725. Look at this. Krishna says, I am so Guhyam. I am so, and let's not forget the context. This is still explanation on Raja Guhyam. Krishna says, I am so confidentially situated that na aham prakasha sarvasya. I am never manifest to the foolish and the less intelligent. For them I am covered by my potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. So Krishna likes to hide. Even in Vrindavan with his friends, Krishna likes to play hide and seek. So Krishna says, na aham prakasha sarvasya. Even in this world, मैं छिपता हूँ. मैं सबके चित्त में छिपता हूँ. मैं पृथ्वी में छिपता हूँ. मैं वृक्षों में छिपता हूँ. और जल के रस में मैं छिपता हूँ. शशि और सूर्य के प्रकाश में मैं छिपता हूँ. इतना छिप जाता हूँ कि लोग नास्तिकवाद की ओर प्रवेश करते हैं. Krishna is so hidden in this world. He is so hidden, covered yoga maya samavritaha. Krishna says, I am covered by my yoga maya, na aham prakasha sarvasya. Therefore, I am not seen and I am not found. But let's ask a question. Let's ask a question. If there's a faithful dog in our home, and we as the master of the house, servant of the house, as the master of the house, let's say we come in different attire. We put on a different makeup, we put on a different clown costume, we come as a joker with a little red nose, and we are coming with funny hair, and we are coming with baggy clothes as a clone in the house. Can the dog recognize us, yes or no? Yes, the dog can. How come? Through the smell. The dog initially can't, but as he comes and sniffs us, he starts wagging his tail. And then the master has to remove his costume and embrace the dog. Others may or may not recognize, but the dog will. Where are we going with this example? Krishna, as the master, he hides himself. And people in general may not recognize him. But the faithful devotees who are like dogs. How can you compare pure devotees to dogs? Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Tumi to Thakur, tumar kukur, boliya jano ho more. Oh Krishna, you are my master. Let me become your faithful dog. Sant Kabir wrote, Kabira kutta Ram ka, motiya mera naam, gale Ram ki jevdi, jit khiche tith jaun. दूधू करे तो बावड़ू, थू करे तो जाओ, जो हरि सो राखे, जो फेंके सो खाओ. Kabir Das ji wrote, may I become a faithful dog to my master Sri Ram, so that gale Ram ki jevdi, I don't become a stray dog. I put the kanti mala, which is the dog belt, making me the pet dog. And if my master calls me close, I will go close. If my master shoos me away, I will go away. I will stay in the courtyard of the house. When intruders come in, when thieves come in the form of atheists, I will bark and shoo them away. And whatever my master gives me to eat as prasad is what I will sustain on. So on that basis, pure devotees are like faithful dogs. And the Lord can come in so many forms, and the pure devotees, through the fragrance of the Lord, they can recognize. So bhakti is so nice that it is not just the king of all knowledge, it is the king of all secrets, which the Lord is opening up and making accessible to all of us to make us into pure devotees. Let's see the third adjective phrase of bhakti. Please forgive me, I'm not sure if I will be able to reach verse 7. Bhagavad Gita is so intoxicating. I'm going step by step. Please excuse the speed.
I think we'll be prepared for an extended session today. No problem. Go ahead.
Thank you. So the third adjectival phrase is pavitram. Bhakti purifies us like no other process. Bhakti purifies us like no other process. Ganga purifies us. Certainly, when you dip in the Ganga, Ganga purifies us. But there's a difference between Ganga and the practice of bhakti under the guidance of pure devotees. Gangar parasha hoile paschate pavan, darshane pavitra koro ei tumar gun. Sri Narottam Das Thakur says, Ganga can purify the heart of sins, but the sinning tendency still remains. So you dip in the Ganga, past reactions are all taken away, but the proclivity to sin still remains. So we leave the Ganga, sin again, we come back, dip in the Ganga again, we become purified, we leave, the sinning tendency still remains, we sin again, and this cycle continues, which Bhagavatam says it's like the bathing of a baby elephant. You bathe in the water, you become clean, you come out, now you feel cold. So you throw dust on your body to feel warm, you do feel warm, you get dirty, now to clean, you go back into the Ganga, you dip, you become clean, now you feel cold, you come out, and the cycle continues. But pure devotees are such, when you perform bhakti in their guidance, in their association, not just the sins of the past, even the tendency to sin in the future are also uprooted. Bhagavatam also gives another example. Other processes of atonement are like a forest fire which burns down the trees. Yes, forest fire may burn down the trees, but the roots of the trees are underground. The trees are burnt. Next time when it starts to rain, the roots, the seed will fructify and the tree will come back. Another forest fire, the trees are burnt, but the seed, the roots are still active, which means the sinning tendency may remain. Ganga may be able to purify the sins of the past, but the tendency to sin still remains, which bhakti, chanting, reading, hearing, associating with devotees, studying Shastra, hearing Harikatha, worshipping the deity, performing parikrama, that not just purifies the past, also purifies the future. It takes away all sinning tendency. Does Bhagavad Gita in other places also say that this process is all purifying? Let's look at this beautiful example. In chapter 4, text 38, 438, Krishna stays consistent with this word and he says, Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. Bhagavad Gita के ज्ञान समान और कोई पवित्रकारी कार्य इस जगत में उपलब्ध नहीं है. Which means there is no purificatory principle. There is nothing that purifies like the knowledge of Shastra, Bhakti Shastra. Okay? Does Arjuna also say something in this regard? Well, Arjuna says something in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 12. He says, My dear Lord, Param Brahma Param Dhama, now comes our term, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. O Krishna, everything connected to you is all pure and all purifying. You are Pavitra, you are Param Pavitra. Coming in contact with you purifies the jiva. We can give an example here. Look at the sun. The sun is such a nice purification. How do we know that? Let's say if there's a pond of dirty water, there's monsoon, there's dirty water collected in a puddle, in a pothole. Now the sun scorches, the sun shines bright. What happens? This pool of muddy water gets evaporated. Point number one. Point number two, the place becomes clean. There is no stink even. So point number one is to remove the contamination. Point number two is to not even leave a stink behind. Point number three, that stink doesn't stick on the face of Suryadev. That dirty water doesn't stick on the face of Suryadev. Surya is all pure. and he has the power to purify others in such a way nobody knows where the contamination went. That's not found in the sky, it's not found in the air, it's not found in the pothole, it's not found on the sun. Where did that contamination go? So, magic, gone. Similarly, bhakti is this process. Krishna is like the sun. He is all pure, and coming in contact with him, our heart may be like a muddy pool, but by being scorched by the rays of sunlight, of Nam, Rupa, Guna and Leela. Worshipping the form of Krishna, the name of Krishna, the devotees of Krishna, hearing Harikatha, that's like the rays of the sun. The sun is Sri Krishna. Our heart is the pothole. All our lust, anger, envy are the contamination in that pothole. They all get evaporated. Heart becomes clean. This is why Bhagavad Gita, this verse says, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitram. This verse should give us confidence. It should motivate us. Yes, I want to perform bhakti. We will say, then what am I supposed to do? Give me a call for action. There comes Srimad Bhagavatam to teach us from here. Look at this. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, Text 15, gives us principles to practice by which we can become pure. Let's sing this beautiful verse. Yad kirtanam yad smaranam yad ikshanam yad vandanam yad shravanam yad arhanam lokasya sadhyo vidhunoti kalmasham tasmai subhadra shravase namo namaha. Look at the translation. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all-auspicious Sri Krishna, about whom glorification, 1. Remembrance, 2. Audience, which means have darshan of the deity, 3. Offering prayers, 4. Hearing Harikatha, 5. And worshipping, 6. Can at once cleanse the effect of all sins of the performer. How wonderful. So by chanting japa, by doing kirtan and speaking Harikatha, by remembering Krishna, by coming in front of the deity, by offering stuti stava stotra, by hearing Harikatha and worshipping cows, worshipping Vaishnavas, worshipping Guru, worshipping Tulsi, worshipping the deity, by all of that, pavitram idam uttamam. Heart becomes completely cleansed. So that's the third adjective phrase. Now the fourth adjective phrase is uttama. Uttama, Srila Prabhupada brilliantly explains in the purport. Srila Prabhupada says that the word tama means tamogun, which means laziness, which means procrastination. Aaj kare so kal kare so parso, itni bhi kya jaldi hai, jeena jo hai barso. This is called tamogun. I have to fix my car today, I will do it tomorrow. I have to clean my room, I will do it tomorrow. Ideally the saying is kal kare so aaj kare so ab, pal mein pralay ho jayega, bahuri karoge kab, hai na? What has to be done tomorrow has to be done today. But tamogun means we keep pushing, we are lazy, we are unclean, we procrastinate, we are not regulated, we are not disciplined. All of this is called tama. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that bhakti is pavitram idam uttama. Uttamam. Ut means up. By performing bhakti, we are lifted above tamogun. We will say, well, give me a proof. Give me a proof. When Srila Prabhupada started preaching, whom did he preach to? The hippies. What were they eating? What were they wearing? What were they drinking? Where were they sleeping? Why were they living? Tamogun. They were sleeping on the street. By performing bhakti, now they were sleeping in the temple. While they were hippies, they were awake at night and sleeping during the day. When they started performing bhakti, they were sleeping at night, and morning they were Mangalarti on the altar. As hippies, they were eating beef. After performing bhakti, they're not even touching onion and garlic. As hippies, they were drinking alcohol. As bhaktas, they wouldn't even touch tea and coffee. As hippies, they were wearing clothes which were ill-clad. As bhaktas, they're wearing dhoti, kurta, chadar, uttariya, sari, and so forth. Many Prabhupada disciple Matajis, you can see even now, 50 years past, Not just wearing sari, they also cover their head. What is not found even in Indian culture at the moment. We can see many American-bodied female disciples of Srila Prabhupada. How did this transformation of character, this tama to uttama, take place? By the power of bhakti. We all have so much hope. Look at the character of Jagai and Madhai. They were completely gone case in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat. But by the touch of Nityananda Prabhu's compassion, they became Jagadananda and Madhavananda. They were chanting so many names of Krishna. It is described 200,000 names of Krishna every day. And serving Vaishnavas and complete change of character. Think about Ratnakar, who was a Daku. By chanting the holy name of Ramachandra, he became Valmiki. Ulat naam rat sab jag jana, adi kavi bhay brahma samana. Sri Tulsidas ji writes, he who was a dacoit at one point, by chanting the holy name backwards, instead of chanting Rama, he chanted Mara, and he became Valmiki. Think about Mrigari as an example. He was such a cruel-hearted hunter. He would hit and kill the animals half, so that he would love to see them suffer. But that Mrigari broke his bow, installed a tulsi plant, and became such a great devotee. Think about Laksha Hira, the prostitute who came to allure Haridas Thakur. By performing bhakti, she became such a great devotee. Niranta namlo karatulasi sevan achirata pavetumi krishnera charan. Haridas Thakur told the prostitute, give up your wrongdoings, worship Tulsi and chant the holy name, you will have a change of heart. This is the explanation to Uttama. We will go, not just become purified, we will go beyond Tamogun, Rajogun, Sattvagun, and Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. We will get transcendental. Now let's see the fifth adjective phrase. Pratyaksha avagamam. Pratyaksha avagamam, which means you can see the effect yourself. You can see the effect yourself. Let's see 10 years ago हम क्या करते थे? 20 साल पहले, 20 years ago, what were we speaking? What were we eating? What were we relishing? How were our weekends? What was the clothes that we were wearing? Who are the friends we were hanging out with 20 years ago? Think about how our lifestyle changed. Pratyaksha avagamam means through direct sense perception, we can see our life change. Let's see from Srimad Bhagavatam, what is the life change that we can witness ourselves through sense perception. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, Text 7, where it is described by performing bhakti, by hearing about Krishna, what will happen? Bhakti will rise in the heart. And I must give you a bad news. You will have one gain, but you will have 3 losses. Very sad. Very, very sad. Very unfortunate. What are the 3 things that we will lose? We will lose lamentation of the past. We will lose fear of the future and the illusion or confusion of the present. Bhagavatam says, पहले का भूतकाल का शोक. Hi, why did I do this? Why did this happen to me? This kind of lamentation of the past will be overcome. Bhaya, the fear of the future. What if? What if tomorrow? What if day after tomorrow? What if next year this happens? What if? The lamentation of the past, the fear of the future, and the moha, the confusion of the present, all 3 of them will be ripped apart from the heart. As bhakti rises in the heart, one will become fearless. Bhajahure mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanaravinda. Abhaya Charanaravinda. We become fearless. So this we can see ourselves. Pratyaksha avagamam. Bhakti is through sense perception. 6th adjective phrase. Bhakti is the greatest dharma. Bhakti is the greatest dharma. Dharma means the principle of religion. Someone will say, hey, I am supposed to act according to varna and ashrama. I am supposed to sleep on the floor. I am supposed to fast. I am supposed to keep silent. I am supposed to walk on top of a mountain. I am supposed to grow my beard. Different families, different cultures have different so-called principles. But bhakti is the greatest dharma. Where do we know that? How do we know that? Savai pumsam paro dharmo yatho bhakti radhokshaje ahaitukya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. Bhagavatam describes bhakti is dharmyam, the greatest dharma. It is the king of all dharma. So if you're chanting about Krishna, if you're hearing about Krishna, then don't worry about other religious principles. Don't worry about watering the sun god. We have to water the sun god. Somebody will say, Mondays I have to go to Shiva. Tuesdays I have to go somewhere else. Wednesday I have to go somewhere else. I have to break 11 coconuts. I have to give 21 vadamalas. I have to so and so forth. They may all be dharma. But hearing and chanting about Krishna is paro dharma, is the highest dharma. Let's give another example in the Bhagavad Gita where bhakti has been glorified as the greatest dharma. Look at this. Look at this beautiful verse. Straight from Krishna's lotus lips. Chapter 12, text 20. Krishna says, Ye tu dharmam ritamidam yatoktam paryupasate shraddadhana mat parama bhaktaste ativa me priya. Look how Krishna says this. Krishna says bhakti is not just dharma, it is amrita dharma. It is the nectarian dharma. Imperishable path. Nectar, amrita. Other principles may be dharma, but Krishna says bhakti is amrita dharma. And such a devotee, bhakta, mere liye ativa priya hai. In no path does Krishna say, such a person is dear to me. Krishna describes karma, Krishna describes dhyan, Krishna describes jnana and so forth in bhakti. But he doesn't say such a practitioner is dear to me. But by calling bhakti dharma amritam, he calls the bhakta ativa priya, extremely dear to him. So this is the sixth adjective phrase, that bhakti is the greatest dharma. Now the seventh adjective phrase, bhakti is susukham kartum. Bhakti gives so much joy. So much joy. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Sri Rupa Goswami Pad says, Klesha Gni Shubhada Moksha Laguta Kritsu Durlabha. Now, Sandra Ananda Visheshatma. Performing bhakti causes bubbles of ecstasy to brim on the surface of the heart. One becomes ecstatic. If someone is performing bhakti and feels very sad and morose and depressed and distracted, something is wrong. Kuch theek se kar nahi rahe. If we feel agitated, we feel restless, we feel irritated, we feel provoked, we feel vulnerable, if we feel fearful, we have anxiety, we have lamentation, something is wrong. Bhakti causes susukham. Thakur khud keh rahe hain, Krishna himself is saying, susukham kartum avyam. One feels extremely joyful. Bhagavatam gives a very nice example. Bhagavatam says, Bhakti pareshanu bhavo viraktir anyatra chesham trika ekakala. What does this mean? Bhagavatam gives the example of eating. Sorry for those who are observing Ekadashi. We observed Ekadashi yesterday. So please forgive me for that. Bhagavatam says, let's adjust the example a bit. Let's say we are honoring Sabudana Vada. Ekadashi preparation. Let's say you're having quinoa or you're having Sabudana Khichdi or Sabudana Vada, right? Three things happen. One, there's taste on the tongue. Two, the stomach feels satisfied. No more hunger. Three, body becomes full of energy and strength. Three things happen. Similarly, bhakti has these three effects. As soon as you start chanting and hearing about Krishna, there is immediate joy. You dance with devotees in kirtan, you're sweating. Your legs are hurting. You are palpitating and gasping for breath. but you are in bliss. Agreed? You are in bliss. This is the first. Just like honoring prasad gives bliss on the tongue, bhakti gives bliss directly at sense perception. On contact itself, we feel happy. You stand in front of Radha Shama Sundar and ISKCON Vrindavan. Just by looking at them, you have darshan. Darshanam no didrikshunam dehi bhagavatarjitam. Rupam priyatamam swanam sarvendriya gunajanam. Eyes become satisfied. This is one. Second, when prasad goes in the tummy, hunger is overcome, which means by performing bhakti, material hunger, material desires are all reducing. Instead of having a bigger home, lot of opulence, lot of money, lot of fame, the devotee says, na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktirahaitu kitvai. So material hunger goes away, material desires. And third, just like by eating, body becomes healthy and full of strength, the person has full strength and vigor to preach Krishna consciousness. So one has taste in the senses by performing bhakti. Then when the bhakti gets absorbed, the person overcomes material hunger. And third, one becomes strong with pran ache jar tar hetu prachar to preach the message of bhakti. So this is the elaboration on the term susukham, kartum. And finally, the last adjective phrase, avyayam. Krishna says this process of bhakti is avyaya. Avyaya means imperishable, everlasting. Anything else that we perform goes from one country to another. I collect a lot of rupees. I have it in India, but I can't show Gandhiji here in America. They will say, you keep in your pocket. We here need Benjamin Franklin, or we need George Washington on the bills. And that same bill, if I show to some shop in Russia or in China or in India, they will say, no, you bring back Gandhiji. That's the bill, that's the note that we accept. So what works in one country may not work in another country. What works in one time may not work in another time. What used to be a norm in 1950s may not be a norm in 2026. So things change with time, things change with place. Things may change in the span of one life, but may still be there in that one life. But after we are gone, in the next body we can't carry. We may have a PhD in this birth, but we can't carry it in the next birth. But bhakti is avyaya. One round you chant this birth, next life we can start with the second round. This is why we see so many children, they are devotees right from childhood, because they were devotees in past life. This is the 8th adjective phrase of bhakti, being avyaya, everlasting, non-perishable. So these are the 8 adjective phrases. What a brilliant verse. What a brilliant verse. Such a packed verse straight from Krishna's lotus lips. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitram, Idam Uttamam, Pratyakshaavagamam, Dharmyam, Susukham Kartum, Avyayam. Fantastic. If that's okay, I may seek permission from Shamchandra Prabhu and Shamsundar Prabhu. Please forgive me, I don't know your initiative.
Go ahead.
If I could, my question is, if I could just cover another verse, and then I want to open the floor for questions, if that's okay. Instead of running through and finishing up to 7, would you all be able to continue in the next session? I'll stop at 3 if that's okay.
We could do that as well. Whatever suits you, we can do accordingly.
Thank you. So to everyone on the call, we will take one last verse for today, and then I want to hear from everyone. We want to take some reflections, or we want to take some questions. So let's go to the next verse. That's the 3rd verse. 9.3. Ashraddhadana purusha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapyamam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. Now Krishna gives a caution. Just like the parents say, if you study well, I'll give you something. If you get first in class or you come top 3, I will give you what you want. And still, after all of this, if the child doesn't study, what does the father say? What does the parent say? Thappad lagenge do. Chalo, bat chodo, padai karo. है ना? एग्जाम के बाद जो खेलना खेल लो, पर अभी पढ़ाई करना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो 4 थप्पड़ लगेंगे. Of course, in America, you can't do that because the kids would call up 911. That's another thing. But you can see through Anvay and Vyatirek, these are 2 ways to teach something, which means if you do this, I will give you this. And if you don't do this, then I will give you this. So there's Anvay and Vyatirek, the positive and the negative way to teach. So Krishna here, after saying that bhakti is so wonderful, we should perform, now he's giving a caution. But however, those who are not faithful to this process, even after I have explained it, Krishna says, if you don't put your faith in me, then what to do? You will have to return to the path of birth and death again and again. If you perform bhakti, you will come to me. If you have faith in me, you will come to me. But if you don't have faith in these words, kisne dekha, किसने कहा, पता नहीं कृष्ण थे कि नहीं, पता नहीं ये ग्रंथ सही है कि नहीं, गीता किसने लिख दी, ये किनकी उत्प्रेक्षा है, किनकी टीका है, whose commentary, who has said it, who has seen it. If this is the purview, if this is the perspective, and if we are ashraddhadhana, then Krishna says, मैं क्या कहूँ? Then Maya will catch and will put us in another body, and the cycle of birth and death must continue. कृष्ण भूली जीव जे से अनादि बहिर्मुख अथ एव माया तार दिय संसार दुख. कृष्ण भूलिया जीव भोगबांछा करे निकटस्थ माया तार झपटिया धरे. Chaitanya Charitamrita. In Bangla, the same thing has been explained, that if you don't put faith in Krishna, and if you forget Krishna, then Maya catches. Krishna surja sama, Maya hai andhakar, jahan Krishna tahan nai maher adhikar. Maya is like darkness. Krishna is the sunlight. If you put faith and stand under the sun, we'll get vitamin D. D means devotion. D means destination. You stand under the sun of Krishna Bhakti, you get the ultimate destination. But then if you don't stand under the sun, then naturally darkness, gloomy shadow will take over, and that means cycle of birth and death will continue. So the choice is ours where we want to go. Therefore, Shraddhavan jan hai bhakti adhikari uttama madhyama kanishta shraddha anusari. Chaitanya Charitamrita says the only price to put to attain devotion is faith. That's all. Shraddhavan jan hai bhakti adhikari. If you want to have bhakti adhikar, just put faith. Put faith in Shastra. Don't put faith in anything else, but put faith in Shastra and those who repeat Shastra, because they will never cheat us. Uttama madhyama kanishtha shraddha anusari. Chaitanya Charitamrita says those who have no faith are lowest. Those who have faith but flickering faith are kanishtha. Those who have faith but can't influence others are madhyam. And those who have such strong faith, they not just having faith themselves, they can even instill faith in others. They are uttam. So 4 categories. Those who have no faith are adham. They are lowest. Those who have faith but wobbling. Aaj sun liya, to shraddha hai. Today we heard, so we have faith. Tomorrow we read something else, we have faith in that. This is called kanishtha. Jar komal shraddha se kanishtha jan krame krame shei hoibe uttam. Chaitanya Charitamrita says those who have wobbling faith, they are called kanishtha, and little by little they will make advancement. But those who have such faith, they will not shake, but they may not have the power to instill faith in others. They are madhyam. Shraddhavan. It is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Shastra yukti nahi jani drida shraddhavan sei madhyam adhikari mahabhagyavan. Madhyam adhikar, the second category. The adham is the lowest. First category is wobbling faith. Second category is he who may not be able to instill faith in others but has very strong faith. That is madhyam. And Shastra yukti sunipurn drida shraddha jar sei uttam adhikari taraye sansar. The uttam adhikari is he who can have unflinching faith himself can reconcile contradictions in Shastra and instill faith in others and deliver the whole world, like Srila Prabhupada. That is Uttam. And all of them have been termed with respect to Shraddha or faith. So this is very important. One must have unflinching faith in Sri Krishna. We have gotten this rarely attained human form. Shastra says, put faith in the words of Krishna. Yah Shastra vidhim utsrujya vartate kamakaratah na sa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. That those who break Shastric principles won't have success. On the other hand, those who follow Shastra will know clearly what is right and what is wrong. Tasmat Shastram pramanam te karya akarya vyavastito. So we've gotten human form. If we can put faith, we do good to ourselves. I want to end with a story. There's an old man who is blind. He's old and he's blind. And he's in a city. Now this city has very big tall walls on all four sides. He wants to escape that city and go back to his village. Somehow he has gotten stuck in this city. He wants to go back to his village. And this city has very tall walls and only one door. So now he's blind and he's old and has a walking stick. And he's touching the walls. One wall, two walls, three walls, and the fourth wall has the door. So he has touched end to end wall 1, wall 2, wall 3, and now he is coming to wall 4 and he's about to touch the door. At that time, he got a little itch on his nose. So he itched and continued to walk. By then the door was left behind, and he walked ahead, and now again he started wall 1, wall 2, wall 3, and wall 4. He's about to come to the door. At that time his phone rang, and he picked up his phone and he missed the door, and he came to wall 1. He put his phone down, wall 1, wall 2, wall 3, and he's coming to the door. At that time his stick fell. So now he picked up his stick and continued. By then he missed the door. And in this way, the cycle went on and on and on and on and on, not knowing how to get out. Then a person from outside opened the door, told the old man, please come, here is the door. What do you think the old man should do at this point? He should have faith in the person who has opened the door for him and just walk through the door. He will be free. This is our life. We are the old man because we have spent so many lives in this world. We are the blind man because we don't know how to get out of this world. And we are trying from one wall to another, from one body to another. And now when we have gotten the human form, we are on the fourth wall. And we are about to come to the door of liberation. Our material desires are itching. Sometimes on the nose, sometimes as a distractive phone call, sometimes as the stick which falls down. Our material desires are keeping us wandering one after another. Krishna very kindly, who's not stuck inside, but he's outside, he opens the door of liberation and speaks Bhagavad Gita to us. All that we now need to do is put faith in his words and walk through that door. Krishna says, if you have faith, you will walk through the door and get liberated. However, in the third verse he says, Ashraddhadhana Purusha. But if you don't have faith in me, Aprapya Mam, you won't attain me, and Mrityu Samsara Vartmani, you will continue to wander in this city with four walls. Beautiful, beautiful section. I really want to thank the organizers of Gita Amritam Rasamalayam for kindly inviting me in their golden jubilee. I'm very glad that all of you are studying Bhagavad Gita so wonderfully. Please continue, and my special prayers to Sri Krishna, that may Krishna protect and preserve the pristine purity of this wonderful gathering. Thank you for this opportunity. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Granthraj Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shri
Jai,
Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai, Srila
jai,
Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur
jai.
Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you very much, dear Amarendra Prabhu. I was just remembering those three words to describe today's session, Tushti, Pushti, and Shudhapayo. So it was completely satisfying our taste. It was completely nourishing our soul. And of course, it was eradicating our thirst or hunger that we had to hear about the various adjectives that Krishna gives as characteristics for bhakti. I was wondering whether we should have probably limited only to verse number 2 for you today. And even in that, also out of the 8 adjectives, maybe only one adjective would have been sufficient for you to cover the entire session and do justice to it also. So thanks a lot. And I was also remembering on May 16th, there was a question by one of our participants. I don't know whether she is there. Manisha, she is there. Manisha? Yes. So Manisha had asked a very nice question at that time, at the end of session number 43. If all the participants remember, she had asked why Krishna chose Arjuna only for sharing the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. And then at that time, we gave her the answer that in 4.3, it is mentioned that Bhaktosi me Saka.
Sakha cheti.
Bhaktosi se cheti. Rahasyam he iti uttamam. So, and then of course, we also said that it will come in the 9th chapter that the non-envious nature of Arjuna, that also will come. That is Parvakshyami
Anasuya.
Anasuyave.
Yeah.
So that was very nicely brought out today. So these three reasons, now if you combine, gives us the answer that why Krishna chose Arjuna, so especially amongst all his sakas, to share the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. Thank you so much. Very nice. And we wish that you keep coming more frequently in Gita Amritam Rasavalim sessions. It is quite difficult to, get your time. You're very busy, but this has been the very humble request from all the participants time and again. They have been telling me to get you on the speaker list, but then after, I think the last you spoke was in November, chapter 3, if I remember correctly, and then your turn, you just took it now. I have the liberty of sitting next room and then bringing you. So that's a advantage. And thanks all dear participants. Now let's open the floor. Okay, now let me make this announcement. Today there will be no quiz session because we will postpone it to the next week. And instead, what we thought was that we'll open the floor for maybe a few questions or maybe some reflections.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can raise your
Could,
hands and we'll ask
could I
based
make
on.
a could I
Yeah.
make a request? Maybe the spotlight. I'm not sure if you still want to keep it on me or you want to keep it
Okay.
on everyone as you'll wish.
It can be no problem
Okay,
because
okay, okay,
you're the speaker for the day. You're on the spotlight for us.
okay.
And then any realizations, reflections, whoever wants to share can share, but be brief so that we don't extend the session too much.
Yeah,
And then so the whatever we have to continue for the verses. We'll do that next week, and we'll also do the quiz session and reflections, etc., for the entire 7 verses next week. And also, second thing is, if there are any first timers in this today's session, I can see some new names who have joined here, like Krishna, then Shanti, Rupini, Kamala, Devi Dasi Mataji, and who else? Uddhava Prabhu, Uddhava Das Prabhu. And so anybody they want to participate in our future sessions, so kindly message me on my number and I will add you in the group of Gita Amritam Rasamalyam so that you can also participate in our future session. And my number is, I'll put it in the chat box and you can look at the chat box and you can kindly join using that chat box. Okay. Now let's take the first question from Abhijit. Yes, over to you, Abhijit. Be brief and try to come on the video if possible. All of you who wants to ask question, please come on the video. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much for today's class. I just wanted to ask you, since you mentioned that you love to study Bhagavad Gita by cross-referencing, I wanted to ask you that how can we study Bhagavad Gita with cross-references and take reference of what our acharyas have said about the same, because I can think of few things like one can do it when it is taught like taught like that, or when you have gone through the Gita once or twice, and you just know how all the cross references work now. So as a beginner, as someone who have not studied Bhagavad Gita completely entirely once, how can we study like that?
My request would be initially the first reading should be sequential so that we know what's where, and then second reading onwards we can put a little um, sticky note or a little highlight, and then you can have an index either in the beginning or at the end of the book that this verse purport or this verse Sanskrit talks about this principle. So whenever you come back, let's say for example, you're reading about Pavitram, right? All pure. So you put that as a little sticky note that this is for Pavitram, and you put like a little index at the back that Pavitram chapter 9 text 2. Then when you come to 10:12, again it's described as Pavitram, so you can add that as a reference. So the next 2-3 times when you study, you can start cross-referencing. It may not be possible in the first reading, but by repeated reading it is possible. Okay, we can take the next question.
Yes, Srinidhi, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Today, so many things are there to share, but a lot of homework to do also later. So many verses can check. Actually, I have a personal question, Prabhuji. Unfortunately, I'm not able to feel that gratitude whenever I'm hearing Harikatha from Guru, from Sri Gurujan, and from Vaishnavas, and I don't have, I'm not getting a gratitude towards Krishna also. Whenever I get things, I'm just saying thank you, but it is not becoming anything hard deep or something like meditation at least. But I'm not feeling that gratitude in my heart. And also, if somebody is glorifying me, in my college also, I keep tilak and go, so they say very nice like that. So I become agitated also. And if I speak to some devotees, if they tell me anything, I feel, oh, I have already heard this. I have already heard this before. You got to know now. In my mind, it goes, but I don't say, but it goes in my mind. So how can I avoid these things and develop gratitude?
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य कृपा करहे विचार विचार कैले चित्ते तुम्ही पावे चमत्कार. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad says, you simply have to count the things that God gives us. Vichar kaile chitte tumi pave chamatkar. You will find it astonishing how merciful Sri Krishna is. In this world, if we are having a toothache, and if the dentist does a root canal or a crown or a cleaning, filling, etc., and we pay them, we go an appointment, we pay them, and they do it, we are still grateful. We say, thank you, doctor, thank you. I was really in pain, but thank you for helping me. Now imagine if he says, I will clean it up for you, I will do the surgery, and you don't have to pay me. Then how much more will we feel, oh, doctor, you are my favorite. Thank you. Whenever I have a problem, you help. And imagine now if that doctor says, I am doing cleaning in such a way, you will never get any tooth problem ever in your life. Imagine how much more grateful you will be. So he's cleaning, not taking a fee, and promising never again you will have pain, tooth pain. Now imagine if he does a surgery in the mouth in such a way, he's not taking money, he's taking us away from problem, no more ever future problems, not just in the mouth. He promises you will not even get headache, you will not get stomach ache, you will not even be old, and you will not even die, and you will get Vaikuntha, you will get Goloka, you can sing and dance with Krishna, and I don't expect anything from you. What do you call such a person? Emana dayala prabhu nahi tribhuvane, Krishna prema hoye jar dur darashane. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad says, he says, Krishna is so kind that there is no list how much we can go on writing on how merciful, how magnanimous, how benevolent the Lord is. He's giving us the breath that we are breathing. During COVID, you can imagine people were unfortunately dying because of lack of oxygen beds. And now we are breathing with so much ease. He's giving that breath. He's giving the food. He's giving, the heart is beating inside. The thoughts are coming in. We are putting whatever we want in our mouth and He's digesting and nourishing our body. We go out, we see flowers, we see fruits, we see trees, we see birds, we see butterflies. He has created such a beautiful, beautiful world. How can we not feel gratitude? We feel gratitude in our heart to have parents, while there are so many who are orphans, right? There are so many who are widowed, so many who are orphaned, so many who go through accidents, so many who go through poverty. We are grateful that God is keeping us in a very safe, sound place. How can we not feel gratitude? Dharmajnasya kritajnasya satyavakyo dridhavrataha. This is the start of Valmiki Ramayana. That we want to worship the Lord who is grateful. Krishna is so grateful. We don't do anything for Him, but He still remembers even one flower that has been offered. So why can't we remember how much He is giving us? And now regarding someone glorifying us and we feeling agitated, we should neither feel agitated when someone glorifies nor feel agitated when someone criticizes. Because if someone is criticizing us, we deserve so much more. We have 50 bad qualities. The person is so great, he's only able to see 2 bad qualities in us. So that's good. And if someone is glorifying the good qualities that we are having, it's like holding our guru's bead bag. Let's say our guru gives his bead bag to us and goes to the bathroom and says, please hold my bead bag till the time I'm back. And now we are holding that big bead bag and everyone says, Prabhu, you have such a beautiful bead bag, such a wonderful big bead bag, nice big beads. What do you immediately say? You immediately say, well, the bead bag is beautiful, I agree, but it's not mine. I'm just holding my guru's bead bag. Same with everything that we possess. It's not ours. One stroke, one heart attack, paralytic stroke, that's it takes for us to be tethered on a wheelchair for life. What are we proud about? And regarding the third point, when someone tells us something and we feel, I already know this, they only got to know about this now. If it is something material, doesn't matter who knows it, when, where, why, how. Absolutely doesn't matter. And if it's something spiritual, for us, information doesn't matter, transformation matters. The same Putana Leela has been glorified since time immemorial. And someone may get to know now, and we may know that pastime 10 years ago, but still we should sit with that person and discuss that pastime. In bhakti, Machitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Who knows how much doesn't matter? The intention to sit and hear and speak and read and remember Krishna together matters. Everything else is grey matter, it's brain substance, who cares? Heart substance is what Krishna is attracted by. One may know thousands of shlokas, but if one doesn't have bhakti in the heart, what is the use? And if one has bhakti in one's heart and doesn't know any shloka, Krishna is still bound by the ropes of the bhakti of that bhakta. There was one South Indian Brahmana who didn't even know how to read Bhagavad Gita. He was reading it the wrong way. He was not able to pronounce properly. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to him and embraced him. Because this Brahmana was weeping. Everyone else was making fun of his pronunciation. But this Brahmana was weeping that Krishna is so kind. He who is the Lord of everything, he became the chariot driver for Arjun. He is so kind. Mahaprabhu saw this sentiment and he didn't go and embrace any Brahmana. He went and embraced this South Indian Brahmana. Vipra kohe murkha ami artha nahi jani, shuddha ashuddha Gita padi guru agyavani. The Brahmana, the Vipra, he studied Bhagavad Gita, maybe with mistakes, but to keep the word of his guru's instruction. Mahaprabhu was impressed by the transformation of the heart, not so much about the information of the head. Okay, so those were the 3 questions that you posed, and I try to respond to them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We can take the next question.
Yes,
We have
Saptari.
four. Yeah, we have 4 questions to go. Let's do rapid fire now in the
Yeah.
interest of time.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Ananta Kotuti Namaprana. First of all, I would like to thank you for giving us the darshan association. And also, I would like to thank our Guru, His Grace Shamchandra Prabhuji, and actually to both of our Gurujans for these special appearances. Just not only you, His Grace Arjun Saga Prabhu and others also, means, they come so for all these appearances. Thank you so much. Yeah, one small reflection I just would like to share that you said when we chant, the best part of bhakti is that we do one round and it inspires us. If we are unable to complete in this lifetime, we get another chance in next lifetime to continue this path of bhakti to do another round. So that will always stuck, and we have heard it so many times, and it is the best, sweetest part. Actually, one critical question which I want to ask you, which I've heard during our japa session, you do the weekly japa session that I have attended that. In that, I've heard you said that when you do our service unto Krishna, we should do it in such a way that Krishna is doing it through us, and we should means think in that mode, but we should give the best of our effort. What do you mean by that? And I just want to mean that. Thank you very much.
With all our ability, kayena vacha manasendriyairva buddhyatmana va prakrite svabhavat karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai narayanayati samarpayami. With all our intellect, with all our physical expertise, with all of our capabilities and opportunities, we work hard. We work hard as if it depends on us. We work really hard, sincerely, not just spiritually, even materially. It's very important to be properly situated materially, to have a stable job, to have inflow of money, to have savings, to have investments. Yes, it's very practical. Money doesn't bring in happiness, sure, but money is needed to survive in this world. So every youth, I always say this, that unless you're a pure devotee, then that'll be another case. But for most of us in the conditioned state, it's good to complete one's education. It's good to get to a job. It's good to support one's family. It's good to be stable materially, and also practice bhakti by chanting, reading, etc. So in all material and spiritual activities, we put in our 100% with all of our capability. And at the same time, when the results come in, we know Krishna is controlling it. So pray as it depends on him, and work as it depends on us. So in this way, Krishna is empowering us through capabilities. We do our best and leave it to him.
Thank you. Next question by Jatavat Janvi Mataji. Yes, Mataji, go ahead. You can unmute yourself and then ask. Jatavat Janvi Mataji, please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I want to share something, Prabhuji. January 16th, we got a chance to ask you regarding our mother, Prabhuji. Maybe you remember that after that question asking, our mother, I mean, we are seeing changes in our mother, Prabhuji. Mother is offering bhoga to Jagannath. We are feeling very happy for that, Prabhuji. And we are very grateful to you, Prabhuji, my sister Gnaneshwari and me. My question is, Prabhuji, how to be more sincere and steady in devotional service without any deviation and fixed in Krishna consciousness, Prabhuji, by managing all regular activities, Prabhuji.
Prioritization, time blocking, time boxing, and prioritization. There's a saying that failing to plan is planning to fail. If you don't plan, then Maya will plan. Others will plan. So if you don't say, okay, this time I have to sleep, and this time I have to wake up, and this time I have to chant, and this time I have to read, if you don't box your schedule, then naturally other things will come. And my personal recommendation would be to perform bhakti, reading, hearing, chanting before 8 a.m. every day. And then from 8 a.m. to about 5, 6 in the evening, work very hard with your job and your profession. And then after that, spend time with family. That's also very important. You have to spend time with your spouse, with children, parents, grandparents. So in this way, time block your day into divisions of roughly around 8 hours each, where you have 8 hours for your personal life, which means sleeping, bathing, eating, and so on and so forth. Then you have 8 hours for your profession, and then you have another 8 hours which is split for family also and your sadhana also. So in this way, you can try to manage and live life comfortably. We can take the next question.
Okay, Sheetal Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
No questions. Just thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for expressing gratitude from your lips to Krishna's ears. Thank you.
Yes, Uddhav Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, bro. Please accept my humble obeisances, bro. Am I audible, bro?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, bro, for the most wonderful and enriching session. This helps us to imbibe and understand that there is a lot to study in Bhagavad Gita with different angles. Though we are very limitedly with our knowledge, we are trying to do so, bro. Prabhu, I just wanted to ask if I can for a minute. Though I am new to this session and first time, and I have messaged on the number to join for the further sessions also. Yeah, so Prabhu, I just wanted to ask a personal question. That Prabhu, as we know and understand by reading the Shastra, that surrender is the key. Surrender to Guru and Krishna is 100% the key. But as you mentioned earlier, also Prabhu, that for the youth generation, though I am a young, but I'm pursuing monastery from last 5 years in ISKCON temple in Surat. But currently, for some time, I had with guidance with my guru also, and currently, I'm just doubting myself that there are two emotions, and I want to just ask you regarding this, Prabhu, that how because once we understand and feel that okay, we have to surrender, and I want to stay in the temple, but we also in the mind feel emptiness regarding following every day, and we feel that I'm not achieving something. There is a sense of desire of achieving some projects or some achieving some classes, achieving joining some new joiners. I'm not worthily working for the mission. I want to give something to Shil Prabhupada. So there is a sense of this thing from last 2-3 years. I'm facing this thing, but I'm fearful that oh, if I get out of the institution, I maybe get attacked. My ego will attack me. Sense of ego that oh, I achieved this and then I won't be able to. But I'm not at all satisfied. Also staying in the and that's affecting my morning sadhana. Like it is becoming ritualistic. There is no gratitude towards my chanting. I'm doing just for the sake of doing. And every day I'm thinking, oh, I want to go out, but I'm thinking, no, I shouldn't go out. I'm increasing. Just like right now, I'm in Govardhan Eco Village, pursuing 2-year residential
Oh, a
bhakti.
small request, Prabhu. Can you keep your question brief if you don't mind? Because we have time limitation.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Yes.
Yeah.
I hope so you understand.
So Uddhav Prabhu, I am with you on this. What I would like to suggest is I would send you a couple of email addresses of very stable practicing brahmacharis in the movement who would have perhaps gone through your phase and will guide you properly to continue the path of brahmacharya and attain Krishna in one life without getting distracted. I will give you a couple of email addresses that you can personally write to, and you can hear perspectives straight from those who have spent 20-30 years successfully. Is that okay? Would that help?
Yes, bro. Last 1 second. Some people say that you have a Kshatriya nature. That's what makes you difference in staying in the monastery. So is it so that it is like that we have that Kshatriya nature, that's why we are not able to continue? Just a small last, sorry please.
Again, this is a good question to ask the brahmacharis who have gone through that phase. I will send you good email addresses of devotees who will guide you on this path. Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Last two questions of raised hands, and then there are two questions on chat box if time permits. So Sumati Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Amarendra Prabhu. Thank you for a wonderful and a brilliant class. I just wanted to express my gratitude. You answered all the questions I had in this class. So it was a brilliant session. Thank you to Gita Amritam Rasamalayam also for bringing you on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
I
you,
just want to
Manjari.
express
Thank
my
you.
gratitude. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
last question, Manisha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat.
Prabhuji, I had this question, Prabhuji, earlier that the more we hear about Krishna in Krishna Katha, whatever classes we are hearing, we understand how loving, compassionate, caring Krishna is. Prabhuji, we see acharyas, our current gurujans also, they have cried for Krishna, just hearing their name or their qualities. But we see jivas like me especially, like we don't even are grateful to them. So Prabhuji, in today's class, I got that answer. The faith is the prerequisite. Anything to add in that, Prabhuji, or you can correct me if I got the answer.
Crying for Krishna is like learning integral calculus. It's up there. And we are at the moment learning 1 plus 1 is 2 and 2 plus 2 is 4. So first step would be studying Bhagavad Gita, hearing about Krishna, being regulated in our chanting and our diet. You can remember this as A as in association with devotees, B as in Bhagavad Gita, C as in chanting, D as in proper diet, E as in proper etiquette. So these A, B, C, D, E can be remembered. Living life properly, eating the right thing, chanting, studying, hearing, and associating with devotees. This would be our step-by-step kram. And crying for Krishna, rolling on the ground in ecstasy will be all later. That's up there. So it's good to have that as our goal, but to be practical, we have to take steps according to our stature and our spiritual progress. So that would be my recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So
do you have time for 2 questions on the chat box?
yeah, let's do it real quick. So the first question is, how do we remain ever blissful in Krishna consciousness, both externally and internally? That would be to the extent we are practicing bhakti, it will be felt automatically. Sandranandava bodhatmakam anupamitam kaladeshavadibhyam. Krishna, to the extent he manifests in the heart, to that extent the jiva becomes satisfied and happy. More hearing, more reading, more chanting, and most importantly, patience, because it takes time. It doesn't come in one day. It sometimes even takes lifetimes. Therefore, bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate. Next question is how to manage time in sadhana, studies, job, and household. I think we answered that with the 888 principle. So that can also be properly managed.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I think we can go on and on with so many things in the mind. But maybe what we will do is, in the interest of everyone, we will try to invite Amarendra Prabhu once again later, only for question answer session. You know, whatever we have accumulated till now, from chapter 1 till say whatever chapter, whenever he comes, and we'll just bombard him with all the questions. 1 hour only question answer. Would that be a good idea?
I'm not sure if I'll have answers, but I can definitely hear the questions.
Okay, so that is what we can plan, because when we try to integrate question answer with your session, it becomes a really very, very long session.
Yeah.
And I mean, in India, it's already what, dinner time, pretty well past dinner time. So we have to respect that as well.
Yeah.
So thank you all
Thank you.
once again very much for joining our Golden Jubilee session. I think in a very nice, small family way, we all celebrated. I just love this Gita Amritam Rasamalayam family. I mean, I feel each one of us, are, whatever you all do, it's like, the pain that anybody undergoes, it's my pain as well, So in that way, each one of us can think, and we can give the gift of Gita Amritam learnings to more people. Encourage your near ones, dear ones, friends, whoever it is, to join. Now, no harm in joining even now. They can catch up, because it's not like, you miss something, so you cannot catch up. There are so many recorded sessions you can go and hear. So let's be in that mood, in the mood of serving each other. Thank you very much once again, and have a nice, blissful, joyful weekend tomorrow, and then we'll meet again next week. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Amarendra Prabhu ki jai.
Ananta Koti Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari.
Thank you. All the Janat.
Thank you so
Dandavat
much.
Pranam Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.